We are staring down the barrel of the most franchise-altering draft we have seen in years, and if this team messes up pick number 25, the entire season could derail before it even starts. Major Insiders just dropped a massive draft preview that exposes exactly what this front office is plotting to do with our top picks, and some of these defensive targets are going to absolutely shock you. We are breaking down the ultimate master plan to fix the edge rusher crisis, completely rebuild the safety room, and secure the trenches once and for all. Before we dive into the madness, do me a huge favor and smash that like button, share this video with your fellow diehard fans, and subscribe to the channel so you never miss out on our daily draft coverage. I am still trying to wrap my head around the massive report that just hit the timeline today. Some of the top analysts in the football world took a deep dive into every single roster, and when they got to our squad, they laid out a blueprint that is both incredibly exciting and slightly terrifying. They pinpointed edge rusher, safety, and center as the absolute top-tier priorities holding this team back. Now, I do not know if center is a top 3 emergency right this second, but let us be real with each other for a minute. Garrett Bradbury is essentially a one-year band-aid. We absolutely need a long-term solution snapping the football to anchor this offensive line for the next decade. But let's look at the bigger picture here. Are we really prepared to trust this current roster going into a grueling regular season without a major injection of elite rookie talent? That is the real question we need to be asking right now. My personal list of massive needs is constantly shifting because, honestly, I would be thrilled if we went in a few different directions with that first-round pick, except for center. Drafting a center in the first round is a total waste of premium value, and I will die on that hill. I am also extremely hesitant about touching a defensive tackle that early. The top-tier talent for interior linemen just does not blow me away this year, even though we desperately need to upgrade our depth chart there eventually. Our current starters inside are just completely underwhelming, and we are going to get bullied in the run game if we do not fix it. When you look at our draft ammunition, it is a pretty wild ride. We are sitting on pick 25 in the first round. Then we have a massive double dip in the second round with picks 57 and 60. We hold pick 89 in the third round, pick 129 in the fourth, and then we completely skip the fifth and sixth rounds before wrapping things up with picks 239 and 241 in the seventh. That is 7 total darts to throw at the board, and crucially, 4 of them are locked inside the top 90. We have the premium firepower to make some serious magic happen and instantly transform the identity of this franchise. If you put a microphone in my face and ask me what the absolute biggest disaster waiting to happen on this depth chart is, I have to scream safety. We only have one legitimate, proven starter back there right now. You can throw Elijah Hicks onto the field in a pinch, but in a perfect world, he is your rotational third guy, not your last line of defense against the elite passing attacks in this league. The offensive line has massive question marks too. We have Braxton Jones, Ozzie Trapilo, and Jedrick Wills, but it is not like any of those guys are locked in, guaranteed brick walls for this upcoming campaign. We are relying heavily on potential and development. So yeah, the offensive tackle situation is scary, but the massive holes at safety are what keep me awake at night. Let us transition to the edge rusher conversation because this is where the absolute fireworks are going to happen on draft night. The front office completely ignored the premier defensive end market during free agency. They did not drop the bag on a superstar veteran to line up across from Montez Sweat. What does that glaring omission tell you? It screams that they are heavily targeting a premier pass rusher at pick 25. We have not spent a first-round pick on a pure edge rusher in nearly a decade, but the sheer volume of talent in this specific draft class means the board is falling perfectly into our laps. If we pull the trigger on an edge defender on night 1, there is a distinct group of 4 absolute monsters who could be sitting there waiting for a phone call. We are talking about Miami's Akheem Mesidor, Missouri's Zion Young, Auburn's Keldric Faulk, and Clemson's T.J. Between Mesidor and Young, I think they are sitting on a tier completely above Faulk and Parker. Mesidor is an absolute technician. His tape is ferocious, his hand placement is violent, and right now, he is undeniably the most polished pass rusher of the bunch. But there is a catch: he is going to be 25 years old. Zion Young is the younger, more explosive option with massive upside. He has the insane arm length, the prototypical size, and the raw measurables that this defensive coaching staff traditionally falls in love with. Young might honestly be the superior run defender today, while Mesidor is the guy you desperately want pinning his ears back on 3rd and long. If both Mesidor and Young are miraculously off the board by 25, I am aggressively banging the table for us to just wait. I do not love Keldric Faulk or T.J. Parker as first-round investments. Faulk makes me incredibly nervous. He has massive boom or bust red flags written all over him. Is he twitchy enough to bend the edge at the pro level? He looks strangely sluggish on tape sometimes. Parker has a super safe floor and will probably be a solid pro, but his athletic ceiling just does not excite me. To me, those are day 2 consolation prizes that you grab in the high 30s or 40s. Give me Mesidor or give me Young, or give me a different position entirely. Question of the day: if you are the general manager and both Akheem Mesidor and Zion Young are sitting there on the board at pick 25, who are you sprinting to the podium to draft? Drop your exact choice in the comments below right now because I want to see where this fanbase stands on this massive debate. Now we have to address the elephant in the room, the catastrophic state of our defensive backfield. With the painful departures of Kevin Byard III and Jaquan Brisker, this safety room was entirely gutted. It was a ghost town. Yes, the front office made a brilliant splash by signing Super Bowl champion Kobe Bryant in free agency, which is a fantastic start, but we desperately need a dynamic young enforcer to pair with him for the future. If we are looking at safeties at pick 25, the absolute dream targets are obviously Dylan Thiemann from Oregon, Toledo's Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, and Ohio State's Caleb Downs. So, where does that leave us? We are diving headfirst into the day 2 safety pool. You might see a guy like A.J. Halsey sneak his way up the draft boards, but I am absolutely not reaching for him in the first round. Instead, I am looking at a fascinating group of versatile athletes in the middle rounds. You have a guy like Kamari Ramsey from USC, who can seamlessly play both safety spots and fly around the field. Genesis Smith from Arizona is an absolute freak of nature. Zakee Wheatley did not test out of the building at the combine, but his game tape at Penn State proves he is a flat-out baller. TCU's Bud Clark is a human interception machine with legendary ball skills, hauling in turnovers left and right. And Texas standout Michael Toff is a high IQ player who brings ultimate reliability to a defense. Out of that massive group of prospects, the front office has to come away with at least one immediate starter. If we can snag one of those dynamic playmakers to lock down the deep third alongside Kobe Bryant, this defense immediately transforms from a glaring liability into a legitimate weapon. Alright, let us talk about the trenches again because a flashy defense means absolutely nothing if your quarterback is constantly running for his life, or if you cannot establish the run. If we are hunting for a center prospect, the top-tier names are Auburn's Connor Lew and Florida's Jake Slaughter. Lew is an absolute beast in the middle, but I am not entirely convinced he perfectly fits our specific blocking scheme and the mobility we demand. I would actually lean toward a guy like Slaughter who has incredible leverage and power. Then you drop down into that next wave of talent with guys like Logan Jones out of Iowa, Pat Coogan from Notre Dame, and Alabama's Parker Brailsford. Brailsford has a totally fascinating, highly athletic profile that could make him a massive steal for a zone blocking scheme. For me, the absolute sweet spot to grab a franchise center is right there at pick 89 in the 3rd round. I would be completely fine waiting for that spot and pulling the trigger on whoever falls into our laps. You do not need to panic and force a center in the 2nd round. We still have Garrett Bradbury under contract, and we have Luke Newman who took a ton of meaningful snaps there last year and can be a fantastic emergency backup while a rookie develops. Finally, we cannot ignore the middle rounds for defensive line help. A major analyst just perfectly linked us to Dennis Sutton out of Penn State, and I am telling you right now, I am absolutely obsessed with this fit. Dennis Sutton is a massive, incredibly well put together edge rusher who checks literally every single box for this aggressive defensive scheme. He defends the run with pure violence, he effortlessly sets the edge, and he has 17 sacks over his last 2 college seasons. That is rare production. Historically, Penn State defensive players translate beautifully to the pros. They constantly pump out highly athletic pass rushers who just flat out work in the league. Dennis Sutton has a ridiculously high floor. He might never be a 15-sack, all-pro legend, but he is going to give you 8 to 10 consistent sacks a year and be a brutal, bruising starter. Add him to a heavy rotation with Montez Sweat, and suddenly you have a terrifying defensive front. If we can also somehow land a veteran free agent like Deo Odiengbo or Shamar Turner, or draft a relentless motor guy like Cassius Howell or Gabe Jacques in the later rounds, this defensive line goes from a massive weakness to a total powerhouse. We could even look at Derek Moore or Malachi Lawrence in the second round if we want pure pass-rushing juice. I am completely out on LT Overton though. He is just too sluggish, too stiff, and does not provide anywhere near enough juice off the edge to survive in this defensive system. This draft is going to define our entire future. We have the draft capital, we have a clear vision, and now we just need the flawless execution to pull it off. The clock is ticking, the pressure is mounting, and the entire league is watching us. Let me know all of your boldest predictions down below, and I will catch you guys in the next breakdown.